In this video, let's look at the multiple ways Rian Johnson obeys and breaks the rules of Chekhov's gun.
Enter Benoit Blanc.
This is What is Chekhov's Gun? Chekhov's gun, attributed to the 19th century Russian playwright Anton Chekhov, is a dramatic principle that claims everything in your story should be relevant and to discard anything unnecessary to the plot.
That's you operating the flamethrower, isn't it?
You bet your sweet ass it was.
All right, that's too hot.
Chekhov describes this dramatic principle as such. One must never place a rifle on the stage if it isn't going to go off. It's wrong to make promises you don't mean to keep. These promises can also be made with dialogue, character traits, or story elements.
Excuse me, what are you guys doing here in the middle of the street?
Well, I'm putting these chickens in crates and stacking them right here. Jim's job is to make sure we always have plenty of watermelons.
Weird. Yeah, you gotta wonder if this is gonna pay off later on.
Anything that is assumed to be integral to the story and expected to show up again.
This means something. This is important.
To use Chekhov's gun effectively, consider these three things. Visibility is how obvious you present the quote-unquote gun. Do you use a close-up with dramatic music? Or do you let it come and go without focusing on it?
So we're just gonna ignore the bear then?
It's a bear, 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 it's a bear in a cage.
It's a bear.
Relevancy is how clear the importance of the gun is to the story.
What do you want?
Rita Hayworth.
What?
Is it obvious what will happen when this gun is fired?
One big damn conspiracy, and everyone's in on it, including her.
Or is its relevance a mystery that will later be revealed? And velocity is how fast or slow the gun is fired after it's loaded. Do you pull the trigger immediately?
Then we could wait until dawn and slice each other up at once.
Or do you keep the audience in suspense?
Go. Jesus!
A smart way to approach Chekhov's gun is to mix and match these categories. Like writer-director Rian Johnson did in his murder mystery, Knives Out.
I suspect foul play.
Mr. Dromey, I'm coming in.
In the film, Patriarch Harlan Thrombey has died. His entire family are suspects. Only Marta knows the truth.
So who the f*** is that?
This is Benoit Blanc.
And Detective Benoit Blanc
Who is that guy?
is very good at his job.
I have eliminated no suspects.
Chekhov's gun is perfectly suited for the mystery genre. And in Knives Out, Rian Johnson gives us plenty of examples of how to do it.
That all my assets, both liquid and otherwise, I leave in their entirety
This is your official spoiler alert warning.
to Marta Cabrera. My entire ownership of Blood Like Wine Publishing, I leave in its entirety to Marta Cabrera. The copyright of its catalog, likewise, I leave in its entirety to Marta Cabrera.
There are quite a few Chekhov's gun examples in Knives Out.
You have a regurgitative reaction to Miss Truden.
Starting with a bloodstain. Near the midpoint on page 56, Johnson sets up the tiniest clue. On her white sneaker, one single drop of blood. A question immediately forms in the audience's mind. When will this clue be revealed? Despite their careful planning, this might be the reason Marta gets caught. And even though in the next sequence Marta is able to eliminate incriminating evidence,
What happened?
she is unaware of her bloodstained shoe. The gun is now loaded, and we wait for the inevitable shot. In this instance, the bloodstain was highly visible, clearly important to the plot, and it took over an hour for the gun to be fired.
When did you know I had something to do with Harlan's death?
Oh, from the first moment you set foot in front of me.
The interesting application here is the difference between the setup and payoff. With an unambiguous close-up and a dramatic music sting, Johnson makes us believe this clue to be massively important. But compared to the expectation, the payoff is merely an addendum at the very end. The lesson? Don't be afraid to mislead the audience a little bit. It will keep them on their toes. Often with Chekhov's gun, the expectation related to the element is clear. But what about a prop that has no discernible expectation? Harlan's baseball is a rather unique application of Chekhov's gun. But until its very last appearance, we have no idea why we keep seeing it or what role it has to play. The first mention comes on page 20.
That's none of your business.
I know my daughter, and she would want to know. I've put all of it in this letter to her.
And we see it at least 5 more times before we finally understand its importance. On page 123, Linda places the ball back on Harlan's desk and finds the note he wrote to her. The baseball was a rather elaborate usage of Chekhov's gun. It was clearly visible, making appearances in multiple scenes, but lacked obvious relevance to the story. In a murder mystery like this, where everyone is a suspect and everything is a clue, something innocuous like a baseball can still be captivating when used in this way. Now, let's turn our attention to an example that follows Chekhov's gun almost literally. The decorative but rather menacing knife display in the library goes unmentioned throughout the film. No characters comment on its presence.
Thank you all for getting together like this.
But Johnson goes out of his way to make sure we see it many times.
Now, with the entire solution in my field of view, the arc of this case is a tragedy of errors.
Like Chekhov's original pistol on the wall, Johnson is making a huge promise to the audience. At some point, these knives are going to play a part in the story. But we wait the entire movie and nothing happens until... So, how do we categorize the Wall of Knives? With its over-the-top design and blatant visibility, Johnson is making a huge promise that, at some point, one or all of these knives will be used. It has no direct relevance to the story, and it doesn't come into play until the climax. Chekhov's gun isn't about guns at all.
30 years ago, lightning struck that clock tower, and the clock hasn't run since.
It's a tool to set up and pay off various elements like plot and character. For directors, it's helpful to keep track of every instance of a Chekhov's gun when breaking down the script. Tag the element in each scene so it's considered by the art department, and be sure to call it out when shot listing. So the next time you hang a gun on the wall, make sure it goes off.
I f***ing knew it!
What other films or filmmakers use Chekhov's gun in interesting ways?
This is compressed air. You screw around with these tanks and they're gonna blow up.
Share your favorites in the comments.
Fire, you son of a...
On the Studio Binder blog, you'll find our additional resources on Chekhov's gun, foreshadowing, and much more. And remember Chekhov's gun when you take a stab at your next story.
All right, men. Our work here is done.
Excellent.